In this demo, we'll give you an overview of IDHub and focus on how it integrates with other applications like Active Directory. We'll show you how to automate provisioning to AD and AD groups using IDHub roles. We'll also show you how access review certifications work to audit internal users on a regular basis, as well as generate the reporting needed for your regulatory compliance measures. I'm logged in as Samantha. She is a system administrator of IDHub, so she has all permissions in IDHub. This is her dashboard and all the tools within it. We'll first navigate to her profile where we can review a little more about her. We can see here that she is the COO, Chief Operations Officer, and she's part of the Chief Officer Department. Because of that, she gets two birthright roles. The first one is the Chief Officer role, and this gives her birthright access to all of these applications and their specific permissions, which are called entitlements. We're going to heavily focus on AD considering it is connected, meaning it shares an API integration with IDHub, and automation happens immediately between the two. Every other application is disconnected, meaning it does not have any integration with the other application. Active Directory in the Chief Officer group will give her access to AD. It'll provision automatically to AD and this group, CO department. She has another role, which is called COO. This is dependent on her job title. She is the COO, so she gets this role, which has all of this access in it. These are all of her provisioned applications. And again, we can look at them individually and then see the different entitlements with each. These are her direct reports, the people, the users that she manages on a regular basis. Let's navigate to the search catalog page where we can view all of the applications and entitlements that are available for request for this organization. Requesting access to applications is very easy in IDHub. Managers can request on behalf of themselves or their direct reports, and users can request on behalf of themselves. Let's make a request for this marketing application buffer. We simply add it to our cart and we move on with the checkout. Every application has a form that's built within it that can be easily customizable to obtain all of the attributes that you need for that specific application. Once the information is completed, we submit our request and it follows the approval workflow that's built within it. We can track our requests in real time to see where they are in the approval process. Let's open up the request. We can see here that Samantha has submitted it and now it's waiting for her manager, Derek, to approve it. Once that's completed, it will continue on with the flow that's built within the workflow that's configured into this application. Let's move on to the admin app where we can look at the details of this specific application. This is the manage catalog side of the application where administrators can manage all of the resources that are in IDHub. This is the full list of applications that they have. If we look at that app called Buffer, we can see a little more about it. This particular application has an approval workflow built in it that is a manager approval, meaning that anyone who requests access, just like Samantha did, will have to get manager approval first. And that's done by a series of tasks. Just like we saw in the previous example, Samantha's manager, Derek, will now have a task to go ahead and review her request and either approve it or deny it. The entitlements or permissions within this app are listed here. And again, if you had an app like Google Workspace, you could probably have, 1,000 permissions here. So each resource and application is slightly different in IDHub. They're onboarded the same, but all of the details and the workflows that are built in it can be completely different. If we jump on over to the workflows page, we can see all of the workflows that are built in this application as out of the box. We find that most of these are enough for most of our clients, but some do need to create some customized workflows, which they can do easily by creating a new workflow right here or modifying the existing workflows that are available in the application with the license. Also, Sath can implement and create anything that you need during implementation for your instance. So going back to the managed catalog, each one of these applications could potentially have a different approval workflow built within it, because that's all customized when you configure these applications in your instance. If we look at our roles here, we can see that this organization uses a ton of roles and basically is their primary means of access control utilizing birthright access. In this demo, I'm going to create a new user and show you how that birthright access works. This user is going to get two different roles. They're going to get the all employees role, because the rule in this role says that if you're an active employee and you're not in the chief officer department, you get this role and all of the applications and permissions within it. Active Directory is one of those apps, and the all employees department group is one of those permissions. And so we'll see how we automate provisioning to those things with role-based access. We'll also look at this marketing team role, because this person that I'm going to create is going to be in the marketing department. So they'll get this birthright role because it says that if your department is marketing and you're not the director, you get this role and this set of applications and entitlements, which also again includes AD and a different group marketing department. That being said, we'll go ahead and navigate back to the search catalog, which is where we will create this user. The first thing I want to do is validate that this user is not already in IDHub. And to do that, I'll just go ahead and search for him. His name is Joe Black. So Joe Black is not here. So the next thing I'm going to do is share my screen here, and you should see IDHub on the left and AD on the right. I will go ahead and refresh one time, and then we'll go ahead and look for Joe here. Jack, Jackie, James, Jenny, Jerome. There is no Joe in this instance of AD, which is great. So that being said, let's hop on over to the services page here, where we're going to create this new user by adding our create new user service request to our cart, and moving on with this process by adding all of their attribute information here to create this account. Now this is another really customizable aspect for every single organization. Your attributes that you need will look quite different from possibly what this organization needed. That being said, know that this is completely customizable, and capturing the data that is needed for your org is absolutely something we can do during our implementation, or you can easily customize this on your own. So this is a marketing intern, and the department is marketing, and we want to make sure we do this correctly so we can get that birthright access we're looking for. Once we complete this form, we'll just submit a request for this new user. I'll hop on over to my tasks page. Samantha is an access manager. The workflow states that access managers will have to claim this task, pull it off of that access manager task list. Once she does that, the other access managers can no longer see that task. She can release it back onto that list, and then they'll be able to see it again. But for this case, we don't need to do that. But that's what that claim step is for, just to claim it and then complete it. So we're simply approving that this new user can be created. Once that's done, we can navigate back to the search catalog, go to that users tab, and then search for Joe. He should pop up right here, and he does. And we can view his profile and see that he has been born into IDHub. He has one provisioned resource, which is the Active Directory application, with marketing department and all employees department groups provision to his account as well. And that's because, again, he got those two roles, all employees and marketing team. If we hop on over to our AD instance and refresh once, we can see that Joe Black is now here, and he is a member of that all employees department. He's a domain user, and he is part of the marketing department. So that's how quick that automated provisioning works. Anything else that is not connected is still in a provisioning state, meaning that the IT team now has a ticket to create accounts in all of these different applications, provide the correct permissions, and then complete that task out after they created that account. Just for the demo here, I want to show you what that looks like. So I'll log in as Jenny, who is a provisioner. She's part of the IT team, and we can see that she has a whole slew of tasks here that are ready to be claimed. Again, once she claims these, they're not on the other IT user task list. She can simply release them back onto that list if she bit off more than she can chew with the tasks here. Although for the demo, we're just going to quickly claim and complete all of them, so you can get a better idea of what that is going to look like. Let's log back in as Samantha and navigate back to that search catalog page to search for Joe again, and we can see his full profile is going to be ready. He's going to have all the provisioned access that he needs to do his job on day one. And again, that came from Birthright Access. He did not have to make any requests for that, which is outstanding. So let's talk about access reviews. So now that we've seen how that automation works in AD and IDHub, let's hop on over to our certifications page where we can see all of the access reviews that have been established for this organization, easily created by clicking on Create Certification and configuring exactly what they need. It looks like they have some certifications that look at MFAs, high-risk applications, and then this one down here, Marketing Department Access Review, which is what I'm going to be focused on. I've opened this up to edit to show you how it was configured. This is by a simple query. This is how the logic in these certifications works. We want to talk about the users that we want to certify. So I have a query here that says department equals marketing. So I'm looking at only the users that are in the marketing department. I could narrow this down using this and or logic here and say the department equals marketing, and the applications, the risk of the employee is high, or they're in branch B, or however I need to fine tune this to look at the exact user that I want in the certification. We do the same with the resources. We're looking at all active resources, disabled equals false. However, we can use and or logic to really drill down the exact resources that we're looking at, or we can simply add them manually here. We choose our certifier depending on, is it a named user? Is it a role like marketing director? Is it the beneficiaries manager? So anyone in the marketing department, their specific manager. This would be a use case for a marketing department that's quite large and might have 5 managers that oversee versus 1, or the resource owner. So that would be the owner of that specific application. So in the marketing department, they use many applications, and each one of those could have a different owner. So that person would be responsible for the audit. The scheduler is something I don't have set for this, but you can certainly schedule it for monthly, weekly, daily, hourly. This would automatically send out those certification review tasks on that regular, timely basis, which is really nice. That helps ensure compliance before you get that audit. So that being said, let's go ahead and run this manually right now, and I'll show you the series of tasks that are generated. This is one task for every single user in the marketing department. Samantha gets all of them because she is the only certifier. Most of them are going to look like errands. When I open them, it tells me that your certification is already complete. You can complete it right now by clicking yes. And I will do that in the next one, but let's click no here so I can really show you why. This is because Aaron does not have any access that's outside of his role-based access. He has marketing team and all employees, and all of this comes from that. He has no access from any requests. So we're going to complete this as done and move on. Let's look at Ali. He's in the same boat. If I didn't take a step back to review all of that role-based access, I would simply click yes, and the task is done. Somebody like Leah has some requests that are outside of her birthright access. So we can still see that, role-based access here. However, these are the 3 that are in question. If I agreed to all of them, I could simply certify all and say, yep, we're good. And now Leah is done. However, if I wanted to, revoke some of that, I could do that essentially by clicking revoke and starting that revocation process before I complete the certification, which is really nice. So these reviews help you identify some challenges before they actually become a problem in your audits. And that leads me to the final step here of our reporting. We have tons of reporting that comes out of the box. This is generally enough for our clientele. However, you could definitely create any custom report that you needed to target any data using our JS reports dashboard right here, with some simple steps to create that custom report. Again, that's something that Sath can do during implementation. We're happy to do that for you. Let's look at this user access report. We can see there's a lot of past runs here. This really just simplest term, who has access to what. We run it and we can enter any specific attribute that we need to target that user base. Let's look at marketing department. Click run now, and what's going to happen is it's going to start processing this data, and once it's ready we can export it in PDF or spreadsheet format, and that's what generally people use to perform their external audits and provide those auditors. You could also view this report in line, and it's going to show each user that is being targeted, and you can expand these open to see exactly what they have access to. But again, exporting that in that spreadsheet or PDF format is really nice when you are dealing with regulatory compliance. That ends our overview of IDHub and how it integrates with AD, and how you can automate provisioning and access reviews and really have everything available that you need for your regulatory compliance. I encourage you to watch some of our other videos, and thank you so much for watching.